recording. So if you see up in the top corner of your screen, you can see a little bibbidi bobbidi boo red.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Indeed, I
Yes.
can. You
Okay,
sound-
We can hear you,
sound
Isaac.
Delish.
Good.
Welcome to the Vandum Crew podcast, episode 2.
Number 2.
If you're a viewer and you get ear raped, it's definitely Isaac.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right. Work with what you can. Quality,
So
not
this
quality, content. I don't even know. One of the words.
Quantity, not
Quantity,
quality.
not quality.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is the
How is
second
everybody?
episode.
The second episode.
Second episode.
Yeah.
How are we all? I'm sore, but I'm good. I've got my hot cocoa, my sun-dried tomatoes. No, not tomatoes. Chocolate-coated freeze-dried strawberries, and I got some. These for better lighting and some mood.
Yes.
Come on.
Mad.
You go,
Brian's
Oscar.
hurt his back.
Oh yeah, I have hurt my back. I don't know why.
Why'd you do that?
Yo, was that from the double back you did in the gym, or was that from when we were doing like the backflip with the bowl?
I think it was the 180s at Red Square Spot. I was doing those 180s.
Yeah.
I don't think I warmed up
Yeah,
properly.
yeah.
I think I just like kept straining my back because I kept doing it back and forth, and I was like, "Oh no, that hurt."
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so for
okay.
context, we were out training and we were doing some 180s between 2 shipping containers. And Brian and I were trying to get a synced line. And yeah, obviously when you land in a cat position, it puts a lot of strain in your lower back. So Brian
I
took
think that's what happened.
big
So
ouch on
taking
that
it
one.
easy at the moment.
Damn.
Yeah.
But my lower back is actually bad as well from when we were doing like the ball thing. We were doing like backflips and trying to like hit a ball to each other.
Still from that. I still got to send you the bloopers.
Yeah.
From that.
Yeah, you do.
Now,
I want to put it out soon.
All
Yeah,
right.
may as well.
Yeah,
It's fun.
that was fun.
What about you boys? Isaac?
I've been good. Training again. A lot more. I got work starting again today, so back in the gym. New setup with a lot of scaffolding and
saw
stuff
that.
where I work.
Yeah,
so
that looks awesome.
Great.
Pretty sick.
keen to get there, and I have to get there early so I can go through all the new procedures and stuff.
Nice.
But
Is
yeah,
today the first day it's open?
Yep.
Wicked.
Mad.
You're right.
Yeah.
Keen.
The gym where I work, they're opening up today as well. And the gym where I do rock climbing just was there this morning. They opened up today. And the gym, Bounce opened up today. Like everything's opening up. It's
Sick.
fucking-
Wicked.
Yeah. We can finally do stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah, how
cool.
long until they close again though?
Hopefully not again.
Yeah.
I'm an optimist.
So what do we
Anyway,
specifically? What we're going to talk about?
Shall we just start with the videos?
well, I would like to just say we've had a pretty good start to this podcast thing. We had, I'm just jumping into the analytics from last episode. We had 87 views.
Wicked.
Oh, really?
We had
Damn.
11 hours of watch time, which is like a
So
lot of
majority
fucking watch time.
of the people then actually watched all the way through then?
No, not majority of the people watched all the way through.
Oh, yeah, that would be a lot actually.
12% watched all the way through. 12% watched all the way through.
Yep.
And we had an average view duration of 8 minutes, which is still a long time to just listen to some random
Damn,
dudes.
that's
chat
like-
shit.
Yeah.
So much more than 7 minutes.
So we've got
on the ball,
so we're
on
2
the ball.
minutes in. So we've got to try and sort of talk about what we're going to talk about
Our beanie gang
Briefly.
right now.
before
Yeah.
the 8 minute
80s.
mark when everyone tunes out.
Yeah.
So
8 minute
before
mark. We have to
everyone
make
tunes
this great before that.
We're going to talk about what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about parkour trips. We're going to talk about why it's important to support brands. We're going to talk about 2 videos that recently came out that blew our minds, right?
Oh, yeah.
And what else are we going to talk about? We're probably going to talk about Brian's back a little bit more.
We already talked about it. The discussion is over for that. I'm pushing
it's-
past the pain. And
Also,
So, yeah.
And also I released my video this morning that
yeah.
I've been saving clips for
Content
forever.
king.
Yeah.
I saw
was
that coming
so
out.
crazy, dude.
I'm ready to watch it after this.
It was so good.
Sick.
I remember him
Or we
telling
could
me
bring
about
up
that
right
video
now.
like 6 months ago. He was telling me about this video 6 months ago, and now it's released. It's fucking...
Oh, this is a
Yeah,
different
I'm
one
happy
to
with it.
the monkey thing?
Oh yeah.
Wait 6 months for that to come.
I was like 6 months. I was gonna say like you probably needed 6 months practice to be able to go 2 minutes just doing that. I don't know how you kept a straight face.
Oh, that was brilliant.
No,
You're
explain the
right.
video, Isaac. Explain what it is.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a set of walls at Ballon Park near my house, and I had injured my shoulder at the end of 2018, and I was kind of recovering from that. And then Keelan Ryan's Restored Joy video came out, and like the story behind that as well, and how he saved clips for that, and he was branching off into all these new styles of movement, exploring all this different style of movement, and so that really inspired me to go out and sort of do a similar thing. So I kind of made it just about this set of walls. So just trying to find create as many lines there as possible while improving on my own process of like making lines. So each one I would like find like one sort of movement that stood out to me or that I found unique, and then build a line around that. And yeah,
I
it was
love
kind
that
of just
concept.
like a process of while healing from my shoulder injury, discovering all different ways to move and
It made me want to
enjoying
train
that.
I want to train at Ballum now. Like, I want to go to those walls. There's so many things in that video that I want to try. I was like, shit, I didn't know you could. Because, like, yeah, you see a spot, but you don't really see all the possibilities.
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, I'm gonna milk the heck out of this spot,
Yeah, it's fucking sick.
but it
I
takes
gotta watch it
time,
after
obviously.
Yeah. This is a
Yeah.
fucking cool video.
You're right.
Anyway.
How was
what
that?
else? Yep. It's pretty. I enjoyed that video a lot.
Now go
Thank
watch
you.
it, all you people listening. Go watch it.
Yes, everyone go watch
some love.
Isaac's channel.
It's called
Stop
These
the
Pretty dope.
Walls.
podcast right now.
We'll,
These walls.
Called
we'll
These
put
Walls.
the link.
I'll
in
put the link in the
description.
description of this
Link-
podcast.
link-
Yeah.
Link in the description.
So pause this
Down
and go
below.
watch that.
Can we
I'm
add
gonna be
notes to
putting
the
in a lot of
podcast?
links.
Second,
Yeah.
Notes.
Addy? Is there notes to the podcast that you can add?
you're very quiet. Come closer.
I don't know.
Hey.
Come closer, sir.
Hello.
Now I can hear you better.
What do you mean by
What?
add notes?
It was better
Like,
last week. Like I've heard on other podcasts, people can add notes like a transcript sort of thing.
I don't know.
Yeah,
No
I
idea.
do it
Anyway.
for my boss as well. So I send the video off to this like website service called Rev, and it transcripts all your stuff, and you can make it into captions as well for the video.
All right, what's the first topic then?
Well, parkour trips. Why are they so special?
Oh,
Because you guys,
yeah, legit. That's right there. That's the golden spot right there.
Well,
people.
I was
People.
thinking about it,
People.
right? I was thinking about it because like I've been on a few parkour trips, and every single time, it's really They're always good. I haven't had a bad parkour trip.
There is no such thing.
It doesn't exist. So I was thinking about it. I was like, why is that, right? Because like, I think there's a few good reasons. Like, when you go on a parkour trip with a bunch of people, even if you're not close friends to start off with, you're basically going on a journey with a bunch of people, and then every single day you're going to go and face really scary challenges, or not maybe really scary, but you're going to go and like strive to beat
Challenge
challenges
yourself.
with those people.
Yeah.
So you create
Like,
this
every
special
day.
bond. Special bond
It's
with
like
random people.
and they're doing the same thing as well. So you're all in
Yeah, they're doing the same
boat.
thing. They've got the same mentality.
Mm.
Yeah, it's crazy. And you like help each other out. Like, it's a really, if you're listening to this podcast and you do parkour, go on parkour trips every opportunity you get, because they're pretty good.
100%. I think it's also
They're
such a
pretty
good
good.
thing for your just personal motivation as well. Like not so much
Yeah.
just in the trip, but also when you come home, like you're that much more motivated to go out and learn. And especially, I think from personal experience, when I went out of Australia to Singapore last year, just being able to kind of absorb and be a sponge of like everyone's different style of movement around me, whether it was, you know, people from Japan or other guys from Australia, watching the parkour competitions and also the free running. It was just so awesome to see different styles of training and different movement. And I think on a trip where you're going and you're visiting spots that you don't normally train at, obviously, because you're in different locations, it's such a good way to learn new moves and, you know, just to be inspired and, feel the vibe and do more of what we love.
The vibe is definitely the part for me. It's just the fact that you're
Yeah.
out somewhere where you're not really exactly familiar with. I mean, even if every time I go to Melbourne, I get more and more familiar anyway, but it still gets better and better.
Yeah.
Like it's just the fact that you're vibing with the people that you can create long-time friendships with, and it's bliss.
Yeah, and parkour forces you to explore your surroundings. So you're not just being a tourist doing all the normal touristy stuff that like the majority of people do. You want to go off the beaten track and find these new places that hardly anyone goes, and that's what I find really fun as well.
Definitely.
All those like totally unique adventures that you have that like no one else will ever have.
Exactly.
Yeah, and no one else appreciates either.
Yeah,
because it's like you only really appreciate going to a dumpster.
Yeah,
Or
like this random set of walls behind a
Random set of
building. Like no normal tourist would just go to a random country just to visit a set of walls.
Exactly.
You only appreciate it if you're in the art form.
Yeah, like skaters, people do parkour. Those sort of people will appreciate that. Yeah, architecture appreciation society.
Yes. That should be the name of this podcast, buddy. Architectural Appreciation Society.
No, we can't rip them off because they're an actual like group.
Wait, is it actually a thing?
From New Zealand, and like Reese is kind of connected with them as well. Reese Kerr.
Are they correlated with urban brick touchers?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure everyone who watches this podcast knows.
Really
definitely a good idea to go on
value to go out and just don't wait either, because like the amount of people amount of times I personally have said, "Oh, I want to go do this," but then just leave it for like another 2 years.
Yeah,
like, just
if you say you're gonna do something, do it.
Exactly. Like I don't know, just things like that. Like I don't know. If people see my Instagram, I bought a project car at the end of last year, but I've been talking about that probably since I was like 12, and I always put it off. But someone told me at work that just go out and do it. Just what the hell? What are you waiting for? What's the why? What's the trigger for actually going out and doing it? There is no trigger. You just go out and do it, and it's just mind blew me that it's like anything you ever want to achieve. It's about the mindset, not how much money you have, or I don't know, the time. If your busy life is bloody all over the place, like if you work fucking 3 jobs, I probably shouldn't say the F word then, because I'm trying to keep this PG, but I'm getting into this. If you keep waiting and it's just you got no opportunity to trigger that, it's dumb when you think about it.
Yeah, and honestly, like we're so young, so we have the opportunity to taste, and we can go out and do stuff that we, in 10 years we may not be able to do. So it's really good at the moment, be able to go out and plan trips and go on adventures and do different things, because you're going to regret it if you don't do it.
Well, not exactly too much at the moment because we can't go out of Australia.
Yeah,
that is true.
That's good because it's forcing us to explore like what's in our backyard, though.
Exactly. Yes. Like what you're doing at the moment, you found a little hidden gem near your house, Isaac, that you can start making this little bloody forest parkour spot.
Little parkour spot. Yeah.
Like just stuff like that. It's just there's no bother waiting at all. It's gonna make yourself worse off if you just wait.
On that, when do you reckon we'll be allowed to do trips interstate?
Interstate, I think it's like
who knows?
A couple months, isn't it?
We can go to Vic now, Brian, but we just can't come back into Tassie.
Damn, I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I've got my money saved up. I can go wait for a while and then stay over there for ages until we can come back.
Seriously, as soon as the restrictions on coming back into Tassie are lifted, I'm coming over to Vic, 100%.
Yep, same. I vouch with you there. On this episode right now, I solemnly swear that I will do that with you.
I co-sign that message.
Co-sign that message.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to get you guys over here, and I want to go to Tassie again too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I want to do a trip around Tassie in the car.
Did you guys get your jump off flights like reimbursed?
I
didn't
even book them.
I booked my flights for jump off and then I cancelled them like 2 months ago because I realized like it's not going to happen. And so now I've got like a $200 Jetstar reimbursement voucher
Nice.
that I can
Oh, cool.
use.
Hey.
Whenever it gets
And I
time
can
to.
use that for multiple, and I can use that money for multiple trips as well.
So if you don't use it
They
all of it
said.
up, you can keep it. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll definitely be putting that towards another Tassie
Ooh.
trip.
I've
Cool.
got
Sometime
the
soon.
facility right here for
When
you
I
to
can.
stay in.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
I wanna get to Launceston again. Do more of a trip up
Launceston.
north.
Launceston.
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 You know what I mean?
It's like Americans say Melbourne.
Launceston. All right.
Yeah, so true.
Launceston.
Yeah,
I
Launceston.
want to go
There you
Tassie.
go.
Launceston.
Now you're a Tasmanian.
Yeah. And like Burnie and stuff as well.
Yeah,
They've got
yeah,
some cool spots.
absolutely. I'd be keen to hit up a road trip, and we also go to Cradle Mountain.
Yeah.
Gotta go Crater Mountain.
That'd be
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah.
I want to go Crater Mountain. I want to go Tassie for those 2 reasons, but I also want to go to WA, Sydney,
Yeah.
and Brisbane.
Perth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do
keen
want
for
to.
some
I do
Brisbane
want to
as
Yeah,
well.
Perth is the best place in Australia for just community training. Oh, actually, maybe aside from Brisbane, I reckon Brisbane and Perth are the best. Like they're best spots, most variety. You know, you got sand, concrete, grass, everything in between, different types of structures, different walls, and community is strong. And they have gyms as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have gyms.
True.
I really want to go to Brisbane and I really want to go to Perth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we make a Vandum solemn oath again to Brisbane and Perth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we can.
We're gonna have
We're
all of
allowed
us
to.
together though.
Yeah.
On the
I feel like
same
can't-
trip.
Perth
can't leave
might be a
anyone behind.
while.
What's that?
Perth might be a while because
Yeah.
of Rona, but
Yeah.
I reckon
Mm.
Brisbane.
Yeah.
I'm keen for Brisbane first as well.
Well,
No, let's just
Brisbane,
go to-
you can't get into September.
Damn.
Let's go to Alice Springs.
Yeah, right in the bang smack middle of
Alice-
Uluru.
Ride emus.
I'm
quad
keen
back
for
with
some
an
emu
emu.
riding. We can race some emus. I'm keen.
We'll ride emus up to Darwin, and
Yes.
then
Yeah.
Apparently there's
Yeah.
How
so
much
much
does it
in
cost to run an emu?
run an emu.
I mean, the food, right? The food's probably like
Yeah.
pretty expensive. They probably have, like, high protein diets and stuff there.
Yeah, true.
They run pretty
Yeah.
quick.
I didn't think about
Yeah.
that. I thought it meant like just like whack some petrol in it at the petrol station.
Yeah,
All right.
so
next,
trips,
Should we
excited
go next
trips.
topic? Next topic.
Why is it important to support parkour brands?
Ooh.
Because we need to create a future for ourselves in the sport.
Bang
Yeah.
on. Smack on. That's it. We're done. Next topic now.
Like there's like a small grassroots industry that's growing right now with companies like Team Frang and Stora and
Modus.
and Modus. Yeah, and teams like brands like Nike are finally starting to. There's this dude in New York who's doing the Nike bootleg for your own t-shirts, like the Nike PK t-shirts. Have you guys seen this?
Yeah, the Nike
Yeah.
PK unofficial.
Nike
stuff.
P.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he basically is just making like fake Nike PK shirts, and
Oh, yeah, I know this, yeah.
he was on the Hype Drop podcast talking about how he's getting meetings with Nike because he's getting Nike interested in like sponsoring parkour athletes
wicked.
and doing parkour apparel. And that's the kind of stuff that's going to actually make, it's going to make people be able to basically earn a living off parkour, which is what I would like that because I don't know, people like Archie and Ed Scott, I just want them to do sick shit all the time. I don't want them to have a job.
Everyone has the
Yeah.
opportunity to do that already. Like Logan Garments were like,
I remember that.
you know,
Good old
anybody
Logan
can
Garments.
get affiliated with Logan Garments.
Yo, okay, honestly, how many times over the years have you guys been reached out to by them? How many
So
times?
times.
A few times. I believe
3?
Addison at one point was.
I made a video for them.
feel-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got sucked in.
Hey, we've-
They sent me a
We've all
t-shirt and I was like, all right, sure.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the parkour community, like parkour created brands rather than other brands helping parkour. I think parkour needs a bit more time to get its own brands a bit bigger before external brands come in. We need to create more of a a structured like branding system, or you know what I mean, before other like external companies come and decide how it should be done.
What do you mean?
Making our own, realizing our own way of doing things before letting someone else have already structured plan. So we can make up our own parkour like business plan model, maybe, compared to having a pre-made one from another type. It's like that's not even associated with parkour yet.
Yeah.
I feel like the model's there. It's like you sell clothes and shoes.
Yeah, but like specifically
and you make videos.
Yeah.
And the models come across from skating. Like skating, they make shoes, clothes, skateboards, and they make videos.
It'd be interesting to know kind of if you could side by side compare free running and parkour to where skating was before they got endorsed by big brands.
Yeah,
Was Globe like brands like Globe? That's a skating brand, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they're like a massive brand now.
There's lots of skate brands that have gone huge.
Yeah, and they're like mainstream
like Thrasher,
as well.
Vans.
Yeah, I feel I'm saying is I feel like parkour I think needs to get a bit more like specific parkour owned brands need to get a bit more mainstream before external mainstream companies
come in.
Come in.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a parallel with like clothing and like selling stuff and competition though, because like Red Bull came in and helped out the competition scene, and I feel like Red Bull really helped out the competition scene.
Yeah, Red Bull's kind of like a
they're
facilitator.
Like
they're like a facilitator of like action sports and extreme sports, and
it's like similar to the GoPro
and stuff like parkour and
Well, they helped out a lot of athletes in the sense that they get exposure from a big brand, but the brand itself gets exposure to a different sport.
They use other sports and activities to endorse their own product.
So what I'm saying is it'd be cool if other brands like Red Bull did a similar thing. Like brands make skate videos and they do skate projects. If they did like parkour videos and parkour projects and sponsored teams,
that would be sick. Like, I mean, Canon did that. They did that with Sora.
Yeah, Canon did that.
That was very specifically just with Sora. That wasn't really much of the whole sport or generally, but it's more as just one crew, I guess.
Yeah, I think Isaac's right. Just in terms of we're not in the right position at the moment in terms of scale to appeal to such a broad audience. Because, you know, the reason why big brands such as Nike, Adidas, even Canon, the reason why they want to get involved is ultimately because a consumer is going to be interested in parkour, which then makes them in turn interested in their product. Whereas I don't feel like parkour has reached that level of, I guess, relevancy and culture yet.
Yeah, at the moment it's more of just a thing that companies can use to sell their products rather than an actual thing that they genuinely want to support.
because it's flashy, like it catches people's attention.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's an interesting topic. I feel like it will develop over the next few years and it will change. Yeah. But I think it's steadily growing and it will get there eventually.
Yeah.
Just got to take its own time and different ways of doing things first. Just test the waters, basically.
Yeah, and this is why it's important. This is what I was saying. It's why it's important to support brands, because if you have, say, Giles wants to do a collaboration with Vans or whatever, and he can say, all right, well, I've got this many subscribers on YouTube and we've got this many sales driven from that audience. He can, like, if he has big numbers, he can be like, hey, and then Vans can be like, oh, shit. I'll do a shoe with you.
Yeah. Because that's a brainless decision if you got big numbers.
Yeah, well, that's what will push a brand to get involved.
Exactly.
And eventually, you'd want like basically people to get jobs just from doing. Like, there's it's weird with action sports because it's like I mean, we're going to be in the Olympics, so maybe not, but
Okay, side question. If parkour was in the Olympics, would you guys like go to it? Or like if you were selected, would you compete?
I would support it if it was like heavily co-governed by the parkour community.
Yeah.
And especially judged by people who have experience with parkour and are in the parkour community.
Not just someone that's judged by
not Fig, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, it's all contextual. Like, if it was Fig, but they had parkour people involved.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like as long as there's parkour people involved and the competitions are similar, like I imagine when
If
I
it's similar
imagine
to
the
NAPC.
ideal, yeah, similar to NAPC and like stuff like the air whip challenge. Like it depends if they want to, like heavily split between like free running and parkour, like have like speed and skill and style, or if they end up making up their own systems of competition. But I feel like if it would be good if they took the example of NAPC, because that's a really well put together competition system and standard.
It would also depend on if they're paying me. If I was paid,
I'd probably go for free.
Not gonna lie.
And he's a paid actor.
Look, mate, if you're gonna pay me 10 grand to go to a different country and have a holiday and also be in the Olympics,
yeah, I'd probably take that on. But as long, as what Isaac said, as long as there's actual parkour community supported by it, not just.
But when you look at the Olympics, it's countries competing against each other. But when you look at parkour as a grassroots sport, it's about people like we were talking
not really
about
a country
parkour trips.
thing.
Yeah, we were talking about parkour trips the other day. It's like you go to other countries to like meet new people and train at new places and grow the community that way. Whereas like if you look at like sprinting or high jumps or any other like classic Olympic sport or discipline, it's all people training to beat each other. And I don't want that mindset to creep in because that's for me not what parkour is about, and I know a lot of people are the same.
The culture right now in parkour is really healthy. It's really
I definitely agree.
Stop. Like competitions like NAPC that are run purely by the parkour community.
Grassroots.
It's like that's what we do for us. But like you look at skating and stuff, and they have like the Fires World Series, and I know parkour's being increasingly like involved in that as well. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'd be interested to hear how like skating became more competitive as it grew out of its grassroots form, and see what happened there.
Tony Hawk was saying that it just changed a lot. Like when he was first starting, it was all about the big ramp, the big
verts.
And then that kind of died away because the parks were being basically, there was a lot of lawsuits, but also in the competition, they started bringing in like a new sort of style, which was kind of like free skate, where they've got like a lot of different obstacles.
So it went from transition is like all the big bowls and ramps and stuff, and then there's street, which is all like the little obstacles and like rails and smaller ramps.
So he was saying that the competitions kind of mixed the two, and it was like there was a lot of people who didn't like it, but also there was a lot of people who benefited from it.
To be able to do it professionally and get some sort of income as well.
To
be able to
at the end of the day,
they get a career out of it. And so
at the end of the day, if you're training every week as much as the top athletes are, you probably should be. Or at least I think you deserve to be.
But I also want to, like, if parkour goes into the Olympics, like, what will that do to the reputation of parkour and what the world sees it as? Like, will the world look at it and go, oh yeah, this was a grassroots, community-based, non-competitive thing that people love doing, or will they go, oh, this is parkour, it's competitive, I see that.
I think right now it's
train
just
hard
a meme.
and stuff.
Yeah, well, I think it would be good to change the public perception, because if you ask any random person off the street what parkour is, you're going to get a pretty similar answer in the way that it's, something dangerous that people jump across rooftops or. So I don't think that necessarily that perception is already there in terms of being a grassroots sport. So in a way, it could actually be a platform for the community to leverage, but I think it would be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, that's why I think it's important that if parkour is in the Olympics, there are people with with a good amount of experience in parkour and with parkour community involved in all those processes.
Yeah.
So that they can set the
culture.
Yeah, set the culture.
Culture of the event.
Set the culture of the event, and also properly like explain what parkour is, and get the public's perception of it like a bit more accurate. It's going to be
seen as more of a sport.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is a bad thing compared to like daredevils jumping off roofs. Yeah. It's like, if it's seen as more of a sport, that's not a bad thing.
It's difference between street skaters on like just doing stuff on the streets compared to at a skate park.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
But like, you think about people like commentators and stuff. It would be cool if they were experienced and stuff in that as well, because you wouldn't want someone commentating a parkour competition who doesn't know
what a move is,
like names of moves, and doesn't genuinely understand like difficulty of different moves and stuff.
Just kind of goes wow.
Should we move away from? Yeah. Yep. Should we move on to a different topic other than parkour politics?
Yeah.
An interesting topic there.
Yeah, for sure.
It is good to talk about.
Next topic. Shall we talk about these videos?
Yeah, let's talk about those videos.
Heck yeah.
All right, so we talk about the first one.
I gotta actually go in a few minutes.
Yes. I was looking at the time. Which is a bit of 2 minutes left until your 3 o'clock.
Do you have any thoughts then, Isaac? Do you have any thoughts
on this video? These videos.
I'll talk about the first. I only got halfway through Robots, but I watched Garbanzo all the way through, and I was like, I'd been meaning to watch it for quite a few days, and I got around to it. I just think it's like so cool watching them all move, especially like Josh Malone and stuff, because they're just opening up whole new doorways to like off-axis tricks and like what you really can do with your body. Like, you see all like the clean free running these days with like people like Kipper, and then there's Josh, which is just like, I remember him on an interview at Art of Motion last year. It was about Art of Motion and like his style of training, and he just says like he just throws his body around and just goes with whatever way it goes, and you can clearly see that in this video. Like, they're just 100%. Coming up with these crazy like off-axis twisting tricks, and also combining a lot of like skateboarding and rollerblading tricks, like the grabs, and like he's really trying to expand into those crossroads between the sports.
He did an Instagram story where he like had a video of a skier doing a massive jump, and then he had him.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's really snowboarding.
It's like snow skiing and snowboarding. He's pulling a lot of stuff from there, which is really sick.
Anyway, I really like that video.
Because traditionally we've been pulling tricks and stuff out of gymnastics, tricking, tumbling, stuff like that.
Yeah,
and trampoline,
like martial arts.
And martial arts as well. Just clean stuff like that, but we're jumping into a different ball game with this stuff.
How do you define clean? Like,
Oh boy.
Because like the only reason
Oh,
why you
we're
don't think
getting-
it's clean right now is because you're not used to seeing it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
the
Yeah.
first time you saw anyone saw a B twist, they would have been like, "That's the messiest shit ever," because it's
It's
off
true.
axis and it's really
Very
weird.
true. Very
But
true.
the only reason why you think a B twist is clean now is because you've seen it and you know what it is.
I never
Yeah.
thought of it that way. Never.
Like he's calling them like he says this weird one, which is like a I can't describe it. It's like he calls it a cork.
Yeah.
And it's like
Cork
a really
zero.
well-defined trick. Yeah, it's like a really well-defined
Yeah,
trick. Like
yeah.
everyone does it the same way, and it's like, all right, well, that's what a cork zero is. I think once people
Yeah,
get used to
'cause-
it, it'll look clean. Like the
Yeah.
way he does it already to me looks clean, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's basically a wall flare, but not on a wall, and you're moving forward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fucking weird.
I never thought of it that way.
it's pretty cool. That's
It's
that's
pretty
how I
dope.
saw it when I saw him doing it.
Mm.
When I saw a video of a cork zero, it was like, oh, that's basically a wall flare, but you're moving forward through the air
Yeah,
instead of using a wall.
it's very strange,
That is
Yeah.
whack.
but it's really cool. It's really cool because, I mean, I don't know that much about the free running history, but there's been like styles have been pulled in and new influences have come in. Pasha obviously revolutionized a lot of things with flow.
Mm.
And it
Mm.
feels like he's kind of pulling in a whole from another realm because he's pulling in from a different sport.
From the TikTok realm.
No, the TikTok realm. No one's
Action
pulling in
comedy.
from skiing. He's like
Yes.
the only guy. Well, he's not the only guy now, but when he started like a couple of years ago, he was the only guy pulling in from skiing. Like he had a really
Mm.
different
Mm.
look to his movement, which is really
Mm.
sick.
Mm.
Yeah,
It's fucking cool. So that's
Anyway.
Galbanzo.
Garbanzo. Yeah, that was my thoughts on it. I thought it was sick, and
It's
I'm
pretty-
keen to see what else comes from that sort of movement, and how it evolves
Mm.
through to
Yeah, I
other
love-
people.
I love the part where they just go to a massive sand pit, like the big
Yeah.
artificial sand dune,
Mm.
and just have ski goggles on and are just sending
Yeah, that's
crazy stuff.
Just sending
Yeah.
stuff.
Like that. You can just
Yeah.
really tell that they've gone out and they've watched videos of snowboarders and skiers just pull off like, crazy tricks, how they can just like wrap straight into stuff, and they've just done the
Yeah.
exact same thing off sand dunes.
Yeah, it's fucking cool.
That is very cool. Yes.
Hey, what do you, Isaac is heading off.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm going very soon.
Yes. So I'll
Going
link
to the
Galbanzo in the
gymnast.
description.
Yeah.
Mm.
Alrighty. You guys enjoy the rest of the podcast.
Absolutely.
Godspeed,
soldier.
Yeah,
sirs.
Isaac.
I think we only have a couple minutes left anyway. We're at 30,
Yeah.
37 minutes.
Yeah.
I think we have
Well,
another couple minutes left. So we're going to wrap it up anyway.
I'll try and okay.
All right. So what we want to talk about next is the
Robots.
video. We have 2 minutes left. We're at 38 minutes. We have 40. Like Zoom only lets us go to 40 minutes. I'm pretty sure. So we got to wrap this one up quick.
Okay, should I?
Get on with
I
it.
watched.
I
Okay,
think
so I watched.
Did you guys get the pop-up which said that it was unlimited again?
Yeah, I got that as well. So I don't think
Oh.
we have a restriction.
I don't
I
think we have
haven't
a
got that yet.
restriction.
I haven't got that yet.
Oh,
I
well.
reckon we just keep going, and if it cuts off, then it
Yeah,
cuts
if it cuts off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we know to.
One of
It
us
is
just
what it
films an
is.
extra outro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just put an outro at the end.
Okay.
Surely you can just call back, and then it starts a new recording, and then you can just mash them together.
Yeah.
Could
you
yeah
can just
could
do
do.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go
The
to
robots
Kipper.
video.
Robots. So I watched Robots last night, and I thought I kind of like, because it was in Swedish. I'm assuming that's the language that they talk in. I was a bit confused at the start because I didn't really know what was going on. But I like the vibe of the whole video. Like it was very reminiscent of like retro skate videos.
Oh yeah.
The type of cuts that they had in and out. It was that really vibey style of video where like it's going to be a good video, good training video.
Oh, dude.
But I thought it was really interesting how they had I didn't know half of the people in Kipper. So
Yeah.
but I actually don't. He's what's his name? Who's the
Bill Larison?
Kevin?
Oh, Kevin.
No,
Kevin Franzen.
Yeah, is he in Kipper?
I'm not sure.
Right, because I thought he was, but he wasn't in the video. But anyway, so they had a bunch of guys, and they were all really good. There was like a Swedish Will Patterson. He looked exactly like Will, and his movement was pretty similar. So that was really cool. Like really big stuff, big parkour, big free running. So shout out Pato.
Mm.
But no, Joel Larson obviously is kind of
Oh.
the standout from Kipper.
Oh my
and
God.
Absolute machine.
I think what stuck out to me was his ability to mix parkour and free running into long lines.
Yeah.
And I think that's something which I'm really interested in. Like, you don't see it too much, especially with
Joey,
people who are like dedicated.
Yeah, Joey Adrian.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
machine.
Joey Adrian was working on that stuff like quite a bit last year.
Joey Adrian's endurance is insane.
Like,
Yeah.
He must do a lot of cardio.
Joe Larison is kind of the same thing. He's like ridiculously powerful, clean, big parkour movements with double side flips in long lines. It's fucked up. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
There was a line where he did side flip, then I can't remember if it was a cat pass or something over like a highway kind of barrier onto like another block, and then he just goes straight into scoot triple full onto grass.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
So he's
really
he's
good.
high end of the spectrum in both sports for sure.
Yeah, it's
Or
awesome.
whatever you would consider to be parkour and free running.
Yeah, it's awesome to see.
Yeah, I definitely say it's. If you were saying just then as definition of two separate sports, I consider them as a mash.
A mash
Together.
Yeah,
it's a monster mash.
It's very hard to separate.
With sweet potato and normal potato.
It's a monster mash.
Monster mash with sweet potato, normal potato, and then you have the sauce in the middle, which is you. Bang as a mash.
Meaty.
Yeah, we can talk about that maybe in another podcast. That's a pretty long discussion.
Bang as a mash?
It'd be good to go into the... Oh, that's a good title. It'd be good to go into the history as well. Because obviously when it started out, there wasn't really a clear, distinct separation.
It's like, yeah, let's go out and do some shit. See if I can push our bodies.
Well, I think, I don't know, have you heard the history? Like, because I think it was Sebastian Fuken who termed free running.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Not specifically him, but it was like, I guess he
brought a bit more acrobatic and freestyle elements into parkour. So, yeah. I don't mind if people like want to call it purely parkour or purely free running. Like, to me, kind of. I used to be quite like specific about which is which, but now I'm just like, I don't really mind because with the culture now, it's kind of all the same thing.
Yeah, we all just mash it together anyway. Bang as a mash.
Yeah.
Addy, your thoughts on robots?
Oh, well, I've just been watching Joe Larison for like, I don't know, probably like over a year now. Like, I've been following on Instagram, and I love everything that's happening. Pretty sure I saw like a while ago this same team, one of the guys in the team was doing like, I'm pretty sure it was a Randy pre-cap.
What?
Not Randy. What's the one? Double A? No, triple A.
Yeah, it's Randy.
Rudy,
but off like a. Yeah. Okay. So I think it was a double A sort of thing.
Double A battery.
He did a double A gap. Like
double
he did
A battery.
There was two walls, and he went off this wall and did 1.5 spins and landed on this wall, and then did a full off. And I was like, "Holy shit, these guys are high level!" Like, I'm pretty sure he was the first person I saw do that.
I'm pretty sure. Like, when Kevin, I saw it, he's good at those.
Yeah. When I saw that, I was like, okay, well, that's like, I've not seen anyone do that. So these guys are basically at the tip of the spear.
I remember seeing, who was it in UK that did an A twist pre full out, or like dub full out? No.
Was it George?
Jaden Clark?
Yeah, Jaden Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was mental.
Double A, dub full. Yeah.
It was always just a side pre, front pre, or back pre. That was like.
Was that an A twist or a double A twist?
I think he did A twist then dub full out. Like
this guy did. Yeah, this guy did double A.
Like, how do you spot for that?
I don't know.
George, what's his name? George
McGowan
from Lotus. He can do double A prees.
Yeah.
See ya.
I remember seeing
Rudy
I got to go.
Peace.
Bye. Have fun.
Goodbye. Love you all.
Everybody.
Mama.
See you in the next one.
I put everyone Instagrams in the description as well.
Who's that? Oh, the guys that we're talking about.
Yeah, no, us. I'll link our Instras in the bio. That was Isaac James, everybody.
James Isaac.
of James Isaac.
The content king.
But yeah,
Indeed.
it's the first. He was the first one I saw do double A. I don't think I've seen that. I don't know, but yeah, it was crazy.
Double A
I
pre.
was like, shit. And then obviously Joel Larison is also a massive monster of just doing crazy. It's awesome. I love him.
One of the
They're awesome people.
standouts clips for me from a parkour side was across the roof where he was just doing those fat cat passes.
Yeah, and the
Like,
big
and it
drops.
looked like he was going down a story. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the other one was where he did like double A twists like off a kicker, but up to flat though.
Yeah, I did see
And
that
then
on
did
the
kinda
roof.
like a yeah,
Or
on the
swing through
roof,
dub
then
core.
does like a yep. Yeah, exactly. And
Yep.
I wasn't expecting. I was like, imagine
what
if
was
because I
that?
could see him setting up for the. So you know in that clip on the roof, on that like
So he
black
does
concrete
double
roof,
A
double
cork
A
swing.
off a kicker, yeah,
Yeah.
and then like kind of does a dash down, like a
Yep,
cash
yep.
down, yeah, into the court. And I thought he was just gonna do court because I've seen him do a bunch. And he does the double. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Talk
Yeah.
about sanding.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
Mad.
the like that's what parkour culture is becoming into. It's becoming mixing in with the skate culture of just wearing whatever the hell you want, doing whatever the hell you want, throwing your body however you want, and then doing it in the most whack way you can. But also,
I don't know how he trains in shirts though, like that, like full buttoned up shirts.
Yeah, it's like
It's probably hella cold over there.
Oh, yeah, probably. I mean, I haven't been there personally, so probably.
Yeah.
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 I think it's
damn.
just a revolution. Like the sport just keeps evolving, doesn't it? You
Yeah.
get people like I don't know when he started training, but if he started training when he was younger, his body's just adapted to parkour. So he's just gonna do crazier shit than the people who started when they were 15 or whatever, like 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people are doing dub corks on concrete, but yeah, his endurance is insane. I feel like for the massive stuff that he does. Just does a massive thing and then another massive thing and then a double side flip and then he keeps
Makes me
going.
wish that I just went straight hard into the hard tricks when I was younger.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
And my body hurts because I don't warm up or stretch down for it the right way. Just little things like that. It's just I feel like I'm not even 20 yet. I've turned 20 this year now. It's like I'm already hurting a lot.
Yeah.
I
After
feel
my
like-
last injury of my,
You go.
like after re-injuring my ankle, this is the third time as of the last time it happened. After the Australian trip, that's when I kind of really have thought about, okay, I want to be doing this for a long time, so I need to take care of my body now. And it's not worth, if I've had an ankle thing, going to get the line again because it's just one line in one training session.
Compared to the rest of your training and the rest of your life.
Yeah, well, exactly. And so for the past times that I've re-injured it, 2 out of the 3 were redoing something that after I'd done an ankle thing, and it's put me out of like where I was up at like 95, 100% for another 2 to 3 months. So now I'm putting a big emphasis on, stretching, conditioning. I stretch 3 times a week. I'm doing ankle conditioning and back conditioning once each times a week, and just like doing ankle mobility exercises and like really just trying to get myself as healthy as possible. So when I go out, I'm like safe, comfortable, my body feels good.
So for context, Oscar's been training 9 years.
I think
2011?
8.5 years now.
8.5 years.
Yeah, 8.5.
Brian's been training 6.
6 bordering on 7.
Been training like 3 or 4. So when did you start feeling it, Oscar? Like last year, you reckon?
The first injury that I ever had, which put me out for a long time, was my lower back. So that probably happened 4 years into my training when I was first learning podcast.
Dude,
so that was just
I was there when you did that. That was at Lauderdale Primary School, and you did a podcast of like a monkey bar setup or whatever, and you just landed.
Yeah, it was like kind of like a beam.
Weird. Yeah.
And so I had bad technique and I was landing bad, but I just kept going because I'd never had an injury before. And I didn't really know
You didn't
what
think it was going to
it felt like leading into the injury. Exactly. I just thought I had and I was tied back because we've been training all day. So that was the first thing which put me out for a while. And then coming back from that, so I had that back problem kind of like haunted me for like a few years, and then it disappeared for a year or 2, and it comes back every now and again for a month or so. And it's back now, unfortunately. But outside of that, I've had bad ankles as well. And that's a 100% one, I think probably due to genetics because I have shit ankle flexibility. But two, obviously because up until a few months ago, I just hadn't put in the time and the effort to just increase my mobility and flexibility and, just make sure my ankles are bulletproof. So that's what I'm really trying to focus on now because in my 8 years of training, that's the thing that's put me out for the most is ankle issues. And I think it's so preventable if you're educated and know what you're doing and know not to push yourself as you shouldn't in your training. It's just like if you're progressing to do something which is on the tip of your comfort level or on the tip of where you are physically or mentally, that's where you're going to be in that high risk area. And so if you're there mentally and physically, in terms of, you can do it, like you're able to do it, then I think that if you are conscious of, where you can be injured or where you have had injuries, it's also a skill to be able to manage that in your training. I think that's something that I'm starting to learn now after 7-8 years.
It's that inner realization that you actually have to take care of your body, not just send yourself. But sometimes I swear there's people that don't take care of themselves, send it. They're the absolute freaks that can do this without taking care of themselves and still turn out fine and be beasts.
Yeah.
What the
100% there's people like that.
Yeah.
I think it takes one big injury to put someone out for a long time. And I think you've seen it across the parkour scene in Australia. I mean, take for example, Will Patterson. He's been out for 2 years now. He injured, I can't remember whether he broke his leg or did something like that. Probably around 2 years ago. Yeah, maybe. And then so he healed up. He was back to full training for 2 months. Came to jump off. Did double cork on concrete, which he's 100% comfortable with normally. Like outside of a competition setting, he's landing on his feet 100% of the time, perfectly. And he just put too much power in the competition. And I don't know whether I can't remember whether he broke it or slightly over rotated. Definitely tore the ligaments, and he was out for another 9 months. And then he came back, and he was back on the scene for 2 weeks. And it's not really correlated to a skill thing, but if you know the story, he jumped. He was on a roof and he jumped to a wall that was tiles, and you assume tiles are strong. I think it was marble tiles. Yeah, went through, had his leg caught on the inside, and basically ripped everything up in his leg, and had a cut that went. Not a cut. It was like a chunk. Like a proper deep sever. Yeah, like a chunk that got taken out of his leg, like from his ankle through to his calf.
Bloody hell.
And he's still out now, and he's probably going to be still out for another 6 months to a year before he can be back at 100%.
I think I remember seeing that photo.
Yeah. So you don't know when it's going to happen, but if you can minimize that and make sure your body's in the best condition to avoid it and to prevent it if you're ever in that situation. And obviously he couldn't in that last situation, but learning how to mitigate risk in training, I think, is such an important skill and something that you need to develop as you train, because it's not always obvious when you start out. And I think it's only once you learn how to be in full control of your body and understand where your body is everywhere at one time, that you really understand, if you push something or if you're trying a move and, you feel like something's not right mentally or physically, that it's like not a bad idea to take a step back and come back and do it next week instead of then and there for the, for the Instagram clip or for the hype of the day or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's pretty whack because there's some accidents where you could do absolutely nothing about, and it's like a freak accident. You don't really have any control over that. And then there's some accidents where it's like, oh, well, you probably should have stopped before that happened. Right. And like those ones, it's a judgment thing, and it's also, I don't know, if you're trying to do dub corked concrete and you've got it to grass perfect, but you try to do it to concrete. The first one you fuck up, the second one you fuck up, the third one you fuck up. If you keep just like drilling yourself into the ground, like you can do it, but at the same time you've failed 3 times now. You should probably go back. You know what I mean? Like some people, and I've done it. You just grind, but it's a judgment thing. It's weird, and it's like you see that all sorts. Like I see challenges sometimes. And a lot of the time I'm like, oh, I can do that easily. And it's like, you can do that easily. But then you start actually trying to do the challenge, you piece it down, you just start thinking about it.
You might be able to completely 100% physically, but it's the mentality at the time that dictates whether you can do it or not.
Like if I'm feeling like I am unreasonably scared of doing this challenge, I really think about like, oh, maybe I don't want to do it. Because if I'm unreasonably scared and I bail, it's gonna fucking suck. Like
if you have any sort of doubt, you know that something's not gonna be right.
Yeah.
Mm.
And every challenge is different. Like there was this one I was trying to do a side flip gap and there was a rail. So I had to side flip over the rail and it was on concrete. And there was also a little ledge next to where I was landing. So it's like, if I fuck up this challenge, could really fuck myself up. If it's something to sand, like a double A, and I'm scared of hitting the double A, but if I fuck up, I'm just going to land on my butt and it's sand, it doesn't matter sort of a thing. It's different. But yeah, there's like certain, so it's like just, risk mitigation is the, maybe that's what separates those people that just send and they're fine.
Yeah.
Maybe they just have really good risk mitigation. Maybe they just know their limits like really well. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to know.
Like they know they're physically and mentally capable to do even better than that. It's just the fact that they gonna make sure that they're safe 100% of the time.
Yeah. I feel like no one. I mean, I don't know. Do you know anyone who's never been injured? Who's like good?
I feel like that's everyone's been injured in their own way. It depends on how little or big.
Yeah.
Because it's a pretty intense sport. When you think about it, you're going upside down on top of concrete all the time, or taking big impact all the time.
I feel like half the time you just got to take the good with the bad. That injury is inevitable at some point. It's not the fact that like even if you fully 100% of the time devote yourself to be invincible towards injury, so like you're 100% committing to the conditioning of the body and stretching and stuff and the preparation towards that thing. There's always going to be times could be this time this will slip up and you wouldn't even like you would be 100% prepared. It's things happen.
Yeah, you can't control 100% for what's going to happen to you. Yeah,
you have to realize that it's not you're not 100% visible. You have to realize that there's other ways to do this, and the fact that made no sense. Other ways to do this anyway. Yeah. I'll
like
rest my
injury
case
kind of
there.
just comes. If you want to live, you're probably going to get injured. If you want to do parkour, you are more likely to get injured slightly, depending on who you are. So
depends on how
you just
mentally
kind of
strong
take
you
it.
are.
But yeah, there is that thing where like knowing your limits is really important because I've done it where I've just done stupid shit and it's like, oh well, that was silly. Why'd you do that?
Like half the time,
I was just saying, there's been so many times where I've done something and I've tweaked something or something's hurt. I've been like, why did I do it? Like afterwards, I'd be like, why did I do that? Like, why didn't I just walk away from that? But I think it comes from the passion as well, because when you're in the zone and you want to do something, like it feels like every muscle and bone and fiber in your body just wants to get that thing done. Like it's like your sole purpose in that moment is to do that thing. And that can be so hard to walk away from.
And if you're trying to get better, you have to push. Like you can't just sit in your comfort zone and just do safe things all the time. You have to push. So yeah, it's a bit of a difficult conundrum. It's a bit of a paradox because you got to push, but you also got to stay safe. It's like,
what I was going to say before is like, I've done crazy things and not hurt myself, but I could be walking along on grass and there's a tiny little bump and then I'll hurt my ankle over that. Just dumb shit like that. And that'll put me out for a couple of weeks just because of that tiny little thing.
Yeah, that's the other little thing that happens. Like when you're doing a crazy thing, you're super hyper focused on everything so you don't fuck up. But when you're not really like doing crazy shit, when you're just doing easy stuff, like Tom Wedding, he snapped his ACL doing a side flip, trying to land in a scoot. The guy can do side flips. Like it's not a crazy thing for him at all. And he just wasn't thinking, like maybe he had some wear and tear because he was overusing it. I don't know. But it was just like, he said that he just didn't really think about it that much. And he just kind of chucked it, which is what you do if you've done thousands of side flips. Like, yeah, injuries suck.
Yep. Totally agree.
Yeah.
But they're sometimes insightful that I like, like, for example, my left ankle was always injured and always sucked. and I'd always take off my right foot for jumps. And then that ankle got good. Then I injured my right ankle, and that's been worse off since anyway. And then I get better at my left takeoff.
Yeah.
It's like
there's benefits
now
with
I'm
injuries for sure.
now I'm kind of in the middle when I can get oppo.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, that was definitely a thing with me as well. Having my left ankle out for so long.
It's weirdly. It's like you have to train the other side to be as good as what you were on the other side, but you can be. There's so much more opportunity comes with oppo stuff. Like at a spot, like because I've learned oppo falls now and oppo twisting and stuff like that, for example. And like at a spot, you can only do a takeoff of 1 foot onto a certain area because it's so awkward in a different spot or whatever. And you can only take off your left foot for a cork or something. I don't know, or a dub cork, or I don't know. Whereas if you can only cork on your right foot, you couldn't do that there. But if you go for both, you have the option, and you can have endless possibilities. So there's good things and bad things from injuries, but take it as it comes. You know, there's gonna be good with the bad. You know, philosophical.
Yeah. When I injured my ankle, that kind of like didn't force me to, but because I had nothing to do and I couldn't jump, that kind of put me in a regular lifting routine, which is it's been really beneficial because now I can jump far than I could have.
Very ripped, and you have a beach bod, a nice beach bod.
That's not really the point, but yeah.
Well, you can flaunt now.
Like there's benefits from injuries for sure. Like learning how to learning about ankle mobility. I didn't know anything about ankle mobility until I injured my ankle. Like
kind of go a certain way without being so far, but if you do certain little I don't know, workouts to it, you can make it bloody in a half or something.
I wish.
Not to that extreme. And yeah. Anyway, I was going to say we're at the 1 hour mark with what we're talking about.
Shit.
Damn.
Do we want to talk about anything else before we head out?
Did you have anything else written down, Addy?
No, I'm done. I was done ages ago.
Wicked. Oh, sweet. Just went on a massive tangent.
We've nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it
How do
with
you
some
guys
extra.
think this one went?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think we like 4 people is great. Like absolutely, there's so much opinion from different people. But like there's still that little fight in here or there for the mic, like to be able to speak.
It's pushing
only a little bit. Yeah, I think 3 to 4 is the magic number.
Yeah,
100%. I like today's convo because it felt like a convo.
Yeah, it didn't feel like anything structured. A little bit when we were talking about talking to the audience.
Yeah. I think if we can do a better job at the start, maybe if we can kind of have a bit more direction of how to start the podcast, I think that would help us become more comfortable and get into that deeper level of conversation faster.
I totally agree.
Yeah, I just wanted to outline what the podcast was going to be about for the people who only watched the first 8 minutes.
Yeah, that was really helpful, Addy. So
I feel like
definitely agree.
And I'll do that with the titles as well. Like in the titles, I'll find them like the major things that we talked about today. What was it like?
The major takeaway from this, the major part of it that you can get real value from what we're talking about.
So PK trips. What did we talk about? Injuries. What else did we talk about?
Videos, travel. Oh, you already said PK trips. Philosophical parkour politics.
Yep.
Parkour politics.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I'll just put that in the title so
parkour politics.
people know what it's about.
Yep. All right.
So
So
10 people that watched all the way through. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
You fucking legends.
Please subscribe.
We value you.
I mean,
you people we
you're going to
value.
watch an hour of us talking shit. You're probably going to, I mean, surely you're subscribed if you're going to do that.
Did we get any subscribers from the last podcast?
We got 2.
Who are they? We should shout them out.
I don't know. I don't think you're, I think that's under.
Oh, okay.
To know that kind of stuff. That's going to be, privacy.
What platforms are we on? Are we on is it only Spotify or is it Apple Podcasts as well? And
we're just on YouTube at the moment.
Just on YouTube.
So we got
to figure out how to go multi-platform.
Well,
do that, Oscar. I'm
All right, I'll
calling
figure it
you,
out.
bro. You're the businessman.
There is this program called Libsyn, which it is a paid program. You have to pay a monthly fee, but you can upload your content to, and they distribute it to all these platforms.
I'm pretty sure that there's I know there's a lot of different options, and I'm pretty certain that there's like stuff that obviously that has limitations, but there's stuff which can get you out there. Because I was looking at starting my own podcast just for unrelated things like business stuff. But so I know there's options out there, so I'll look into it.
Yeah, wicked. All right, I think we should make this a cut.
Up.
And
Alrighty.
thank you for listening. And see you in the next one.
This has been the Vandum Crew podcast with Brian, Oscar,
absolutely
delicious.
This is my radio voice.
This is my radio voice and candles.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm
they're
leaving
still
now.
gone.
Goodbye.
You gone? All right, goodbye.
All right,
We out of here.
We out.
See you next time, everybody.
Woo.